Send in the red shirts.
You were lying your ass off.
Yeah, Eddie, that looks to be the case. He was lying his ass off. Damn, Lorca. Oh, look. Okay, let me back up a sec. All right, what's past is prologue. Man, this episode had a lot of stuff in it. I'm gonna try to unpack it. I got my notes right here. I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously, from an action standpoint, the show was kick ass. I mean, this show had one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen on a network show. Definitely, hands down, the best fight scene of anything in Star Trek that I can recall. A lot of reveals, a lot of badassery, and listen, I love that. I love that. But let's be real. Come on, Trek fans, let's be real. Even Trek fans that have accepted this new version of Star Trek, there were some things in this episode, or some things that were revealed in this episode that, if you think about it, unless I'm missing something, just seem very far-fetched, kind of plot hole-ish. Did that ruin the episode? Listen, I just watched it for a second time. Man, I mean, I had the DTS Dolby surround cranked up. It was like watching a movie, and I was just blown away. But we got to address some of the problems. So let's jump right into that. Okay, so now we're dealing with the Mirror Universe Lorca. It made for a sudden reveal. It made for a wow moment. But let's think about this for a sec. So I got to ask, where is the Prime Universe Lorca? In the beginning of this episode, there's dialogue from Lorca saying that indicates he was gone for a year and 212 days. So how did he manage to infiltrate Starfleet in a year and 212 days? How did he become captain of a starship? How did he develop a relationship with Cornwell in that amount of time where she would forgive him and not take away his ship like she threatened to? That tells me they've been going together for quite some time. So that didn't make sense to me. How did he get into Starfleet that quickly? I could see if you'd been 11 years, 10 years, something like that, but a year? A little under 2 years? So again, where is the Prime Universe Lorca? Now, in watching After Trek, Jason Isaacs was on. He pretty much made it clear, unless he's lying, that he was done. He's gone. He's out of Star Trek. He's dead, and he doesn't think he's going to be coming back. Now, as huge a fan as Jason seems to be, I don't know if that means he's not coming back as a regular cast member. I hope he's coming back kind of like Wilson Cruz did. Well, okay. I hope Wilson Cruz comes back as a permanent member as well. But I hope Jason comes back because there's so much unresolved with Lorca as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't really make sense to me. Why did Lorca, in the episode where he rescues Ash from the Klingon prison, why does he go through all that effort? What does he care? Why does he care about Ash? It makes sense that he rescues Michael because in the Mirror Universe, he and Michael had a thing going. That's another thing. Lorca, he had a penchant for the sisters, apparently. There's Mike, and then there was that captain that he killed in the last episode. So, hey, Lorca, I feel you. Okay. But it doesn't make sense to me that he would risk his life to save Ash. I don't know why he would care. This is a Mirror Universe guy. He doesn't believe in the Federation, so why is he saving this guy? And why so much dedication to defeating the Klingons? Maybe I missed something, a little detail. A lot of the stuff went by so fast, but it seems like once Mirror Universe Lorca goes into that ion storm, as he describes in this episode, and the transporter accident happens and he ends up in our universe, Prime Universe, seemed like he'd be like, okay, either Prime Lorca is gone and dead or something, and this is a spot that I can fill, or he kills Prime Lorca and takes his place. Yeah, so as soon as he finds out about the spore drive, he's like, all right, we taking this bitch back to my universe. I'm not dealing with all this subterfuge and Klingon stuff. I'm just going to make them take me back to the Mirror Universe. I'm their captain. They'll be willing to listen to anything I say. That could have taken a week. So, I don't know. It just, something, I must have missed something. Did he need to take that long to get into the good graces of Starfleet? And it's just, something just doesn't seem right. It just seems very far-fetched that he was able to pull this off, and we have no explanation of where Lorca, the Prime Universe Lorca, is. Are we going to see that and learn about it it seems like they would have revealed that after this amazing story arc came to a close, seemingly, this past Sunday. And like I said, it makes no sense to me why he saves Ash, but it does make sense why he gloms on to Mike, because he wants Mike to help him get back to the Mirror Universe. He wants Mike to help him enlist the crew. And like I said, he was in love with Mike, I guess, but it just required a number of far-fetched coincidences. It's a coincidence that he finds Mike in the first place. It's a coincidence that she has been court-martialed so that no one would notice that she's all of a sudden been transferred to the Discovery when she's supposed to be going to a prison. That's a coincidence. And it's just a coincidence that she's the one who, quote-unquote, started the battle with the Klingons, which makes Lorca more endeared to her because she's a badass. It's just a little bit of far-fetchedness there. It also didn't make sense to me that Lorca keeps saying that the Empire is dying under Georgiou's leadership. Well, it doesn't seem like that to me. Where's the evidence of that? Philippa came all the way from someplace. She came to Harlack, and with a few photon torpedoes, she destroyed the entire rebellion. So what is he talking about? That didn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess in this universe, he's just talking bullshit to convince the troops that are under Georgiou to follow him. And even though she looks like she's got a stranglehold on the galaxy, he just wants to take over, and he's saying whatever he has to convince himself and others that his leadership would be better. That's all I got, because that statement didn't make any sense. It looked like she was ruling things pretty damn well. So those are my problems with the episode. I have some nitpicks. I'll get into those later, but those are my problems. It just seemed like there were some plot holes here. Now, you guys, please tell me what I missed, but this is the issue I have with the show. If there's an issue to be had, I have this issue. I am a Trek fan, and I have accepted this iteration of Trek. I enjoy it. From an action cinematic standpoint, this show has no equal. This show is on par. It's the best. This reminds me of, like, I've said this before, when I used to watch Lost. It'd be like, oh, what's going to happen next week? Oh, how are they going to pay this off? Oh, this little secret. I can't wait to see what this is all about. And as I've said many times, Lost kind of let me down in the final season by not answering all those questions. So it was a lot of smoke and mirrors to get me hooked, but not a lot of payoff. I'm afraid that that's where this is going as well, because they can give us the action. They can give us all of the flash and smoke and mirrors of the sets and the costumes and the special effects, the CGI. It's all beautiful. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But this show is lacking in one basic foundation that makes Trek, and that's character development. These characters just seem like they're pawns to surprise us, give us cheap thrills for, again, I said this last time, Shyamalan-like reveals without really getting to know the characters. I mean, honestly, the position of Doctor in any Trek episode is one of the endearing roles on any Trek franchise. Do we really get to know anything about Culber before he's killed? I don't really know him as a person other than he is Stamets's partner. He is an intriguing character, but I don't get to know anything about him. I feel like I know a lot about Michael, and that's good because she's the lead character. Tilly is starting to get fleshed out a little bit. I know she's humorous, she's funny, she's awkward, but she's starting to get her space legs, and she's extremely intelligent. Saru, there's some character development in this episode or throughout this series with Saru. He's gone from being, I'm not going to say a coward, but very afraid, to that amazing speech he gives. And not a very long speech, but I mean, listen. And I tweeted this out. If Doug Jones, I don't know if he's ever won an Emmy or a Golden Globe or anything like that, but for someone to have to be hidden under pounds of latex like that and still deliver a speech rather expressionless, and it still be the Doug Jones has my admiration. And even though I'm still a little salty about him being willing to sell out the crew to the Pavins in a previous episode, he put in the work. That's my catchphrase for this series. He put in the work on the last episode. I could see him being a captain. I do kind of want to see him go through a little bit more redemption for what he did on Pava. But I wouldn't mind if they made him captain and made Mike number one. I would have no problem with that. Some things that kind of hinted at the fact that this may move into traditional Trek territory. And I think on After Trek, the writer, I forget his name, but I think he kind of hinted at, now that this the mirror universe and Lorca has been resolved, that this crew is now gelling together. They came through this crisis. Now they might gel together as a traditional Starfleet crew that we Trek fans are used to. He did hint at that. But there are other things that indicate to me that, okay, maybe this is what the writers had planned all along, that would give us this kind of alien landscape of Trek that we're not used to, but now we're going to see more traditional Trek. We got a captain's log. I don't think we've seen or heard a captain's log before. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but when I heard that, I was like, whoa, okay, this is something I know. I know this. We also got some traditional Star Trek technobabble when Stamets and Tilly are strategizing on how to destroy the Emperor's orb, or whatever the network orb that was powering the Emperor's ship, and how they could reseed the mycelial network so that the galaxy doesn't get destroyed. That was a little far-fetched that this network would destroy the entire galaxy, both universes, all universes, but okay. The stakes were high. That's fine. But we got some of that technobabble back. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I rewound it a few times. I was like, okay, I think I got you. All right, cool. I don't need to understand it. It's just they're talking pseudoscience, and that's good enough for me. We got a clear-cut message, which Trek is all about messaging. With our society today, with some of the things that we're dealing with, we got a clear message about the state of our environment, where they're talking about how the Mirror Universe people don't seem to care about the mycelial network. They are very arrogant in thinking that they can handle it, or they can sustain it, and it's unsustainable. See, that's what Trek is about. So they gave me a little bit of Trek this week. They even provided me with some things to nitpick that I used to nitpick in traditional Trek. When Mike is being transported, she grabs Philippa, she grabs her in like a Heimlich kind of thing, and grabs her from around the back. They beam out. But then when they get to the transporter pads on Discovery, they're standing on separate pads. How does that happen? You know what? It's a nitpick, but you know what? It brings me back home. It's like, okay, we're making the same mistakes that we made in traditional Trek. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Like I said, if you like action, and you like a tinge of Star Trek in the action, this you can't deny this episode. That throne room fight scene, listen, let me back up a sec. When Mike is talking to the Discovery crew, she's on the Emperor's ship, and Tilly says, well, there's a containment field around the orb. We can't get it down. Mike says, leave the containment field to me. Mike. Oh, okay.
I think it moved.
I think it moved when she said that. It moved for me. When she said that, that just means there's going to be ass kicking to be done. I mean, I'm just being real. Between Mike, Sonequa Martin Green, and Michelle Yeoh as Georgiou fighting in that throne room, give these two women an action franchise. What are y'all waiting for? Now, I don't know if Michelle actually did this, but when Lorca's got her from behind and she kicks him with the leg coming up in the air behind, dope! Prior to that, we had a badass phaser fight in the hallway where Lorca and Georgiou were squaring off. Georgiou told her guards to take Mike away, and Mike started putting in work, and then Lorca came around, and unfortunately, Mirror Universe Asuwakon, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Yeah, she had to take one for the team. But now, and those phasers, they're not phasers that we're used to. These are, I want to call them pulse phasers. The phasers we're used to emit a continual stream of phaser-ish or whatever, phaser, whatever you call it, phaser array or beam or whatever. They're like bullets. But okay, it is what it is. All I know is the scene was badass. And again, this director, man, he put his foot on it. He put his foot in this episode in terms of the action. On a side note, I used the Beverly Hills Cop reference to begin this review. there's a line that Lorca uses. I wonder if they took this from Beverly Hills Cop. He says, when Philippa is in the throne room and Mike's got her down on her knees in front of Lorca, and she says, "My destiny is to kill you," or something like that. And he says, "Well, that would be a very impressive trick." I asked myself, haven't I heard that somewhere?
I'll kill you. That would be a neat trick.
See, y'all writers, y'all not slick. You're not slick at all. And did you notice one element that was thrown into the last 2 episodes? And I said that, it proves that they're trying to do too much. And this episode, I guess they wisely said, let's leave that alone. Ash. No Ash subplot here. There's kind of a good and bad to that. The good is that the writers thought better of trying to cram too much into this episode. The bad is that they should have thought that way with the prior 2 episodes. Because now, when the Discovery returns to the Prime Universe, it looks like the Klingons have won the war. And I think they only have 2 episodes left. Oh, God. But for me, it seems like now this is the time when you take up all of the Ash subplot, because you had all this time just to deal with the mirror universe, and you're trying to pigeonhole that or shoehorn that into it. And that's why I'm glad they didn't try to deal with it in this episode, but they should have been thinking like that prior. But now, so they've wrapped up the mirror universe as far as we're aware, as far as we're being led to believe, and we're now dealing solely with the Klingons. So it ain't over yet. This is going to be interesting. One thing I'm going to say is I put out a theory, and it got poo-pooed by a lot of people on Facebook. That's okay. I ain't mad at you. I theorized that maybe the union of Ash and Mike will produce the Klingons that we see in the Star Trek original series. Now, of course, 10 years is not enough time to propagate an entire ridgeless species of Klingon. As well as many of you let me know vociferously that Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, deals with that issue with the ridges and the lack of the ridges. Well, I didn't watch Enterprise. I didn't like it. I'm going to watch it as soon as I finish catching up on DS9. I didn't watch DS9 when it was originally aired either. I'm watching that on Netflix. I'll check out Enterprise after I finish DS9. The fact that they get back in time, they overshoot the time that they get back to the Prime Universe by 9 months. Do you think that's a coincidence? I think not. I'm not saying that they're going to indulge my theory, but I don't know. 9 months seems like an odd coincidence, let's say. And I've been bitching all this whole review that there've been too many coincidences. So who knows? We're going to see. So just in a nutshell, was the show good? Oh my God, it was excellent. I'm gonna steal from another franchise. From a certain point of view. Yeah, I saw it twice, and like I said, I was enraptured by it. The action was on point. The show moved, the editing, everything was great. I just wish that I felt more for these characters, that they were more than just plot devices to move us along for these reveals and to service just the set pieces of the story, if that makes any sense. I feel like the only characters I really have any allegiance to or any identity with, that I know them, are Mike, Saru, possibly Tilly, Stamets, and Kohlberg. They were starting to flesh out, as a couple. But that's my only complaint. Other than the fact that it doesn't look like Trek, it doesn't look like the starships look different, the uniforms look different, the phasers are different, the Klingons are different. I'm not gonna crap on the show as a whole because it is excellently done. It is unbelievably exciting to watch this show. I can't wait till next week. It's just for the season 2, I just hope they slow it down a little bit and let us get to know these characters, which they should have done that already. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I enjoyed it. I'm sure we all enjoyed it. Looking at Twitter and Facebook, we all enjoyed it. Great episode for this new iteration, this new version of Trek. And we'll leave it at that. We'll keep it there. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I want to thank everyone who's been watching the reviews. I've seen our subscriptions increase. Our Twitter feeds are increasing. People are liking our tweets, and I thank you so much. So, hey, let's keep it going. Mike, Mike, just keep kicking that ass. Keep kicking ass. I'm not even worried about these Klingons taking over the Federation. Y'all got it handled. It's already handled. All right, I'll see you next week, same time.